what did you do once you had everything ready that I gave you, that we had a manuscript that was ready to be put into a book form? How did you actually get it from that to the book?
Oh boy, yeah. So that was actually a harder journey. It was interesting. I wound up talking to this woman, Marissa, who is with Smith Publicity, and that conversation actually happened way before you and I even worked together. And I sort of did it backward. I didn't realize I was reaching out to the PR side before I had anything to PR about. And so the next phone call was really back to Marissa. And she was still great in saying, hey, you're still not ready for PR. We've got some other steps. So she put me in that publishing world of saying, okay, how do you want to actually get this into a book, right? Like you've got a manuscript. How do we make it where somebody can buy it? And that I went through the interview process kind of similarly. It was very interesting. So I had a kind of a single entity publisher that I was connected to through a friend of mine who's like a one woman show and hires a couple people and low price tag. And here's all the great things I'm going to do for you. And then I went through the interview with the big publisher who owns the book and the rights. And the price tag was a little outside of what I wanted to spend. It's always outside of what you want to spend, by the way, on this process. You know, whatever you think you want to spend, it's always more. So that's maybe some good advice for people. So have a bigger budget and go from there. But I wound up sort of in the middle of the road, which sort of what we call a hybrid, kind of not really, but in hooking up with Girl Friday Productions, they walked me through almost the whole procedure kind of again. So I wound up going through another developmental edit and then a copyright edit, which they were really thrilled about because I made very little work for them, Brad, because it was in good form. So, there wasn't a ton of work to do there, but they put me through that anyway as part of the contract. So, maybe a second, third layer of cleanup, if you will, whether it was necessary or not, who knows. And then they actually were going to take on the cover design. And after lots of pain, because they just couldn't get the cover right at all, I wound up hiring somebody outside of that who does graphic work and fell in love with the cover. Actually had so many covers, it was then hard to choose after trying to pick the best of the worst. And then as a result, put that back in. Also got in touch with this woman, Denise, who has actually sat on this journey with me since we've had the manuscript. And she was brought to me by Marissa, who said, oh, you're going to meet this great woman. She's going to write some blogs. She's going to help you with some content. And I went, okay, great. And she turned into, I've now made her my book manager. She doesn't really, it's not really what she does, but I gave her that title, book manager, because she sits on the phone calls with me. She's helped me talk to people. She does write a lot of copy. And we got the book published. So, it's available through KDP and Ingram Spark. So you can get it through the bookstores. You can get it, obviously through Amazon. And then went back to Marissa and hired the PR company. And they then did this great work to get me on TV and written articles and podcasts. And now I'm sitting in the midst of all of that good, fun stuff to try to promote, me and the story in the book and my message, with the ultimate goal of standing on huge stages, just inspiring people to do something a little bit different, that gets them a little bit further to where they want to be. So there's been a million steps, it feels like, between you and I to where I am, and I'm not even finished, but the book is officially, you can get it. I also recorded the audio version. So we hired a company to do the audio. And what's really funny is I actually had access indirectly to Morgan Freeman's sister, which I thought would be hilarious because, Morgan Freeman is like the king of everything, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's the voice guy.
Oh, he is the voice guy. And I didn't want a man reading it because it's obviously a female story. And I thought, oh, that'd be so cool if it was Morgan Freeman's sister reading my story. But I was talked into doing it myself because since I want to continue speaking and be on stage, if you hear me read the book now, my voice, all the inflections and whatnot. And actually, you can probably even sense a few tears through the story. So I just completed that, and that'll be available soon. So we're kind of winding down with the whole book PR, that mountain that I've climbed. And I'm now working on the second one. So, I'm 40, believe it or not, I'm 45,000 words into the next manuscript, and, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Oh, and social media team now and marketing team. And I am writing the checks, Brad. And it's it's an expensive journey to do it this way, but the value that comes back, not only from what you provided, but from all of these other people. I think when you have a really good team, the money becomes relatively unimportant, right? Because we know what the bigger goal is. If I was truly writing checks for crappy work, it would be pretty painful. But when you get really good work back and you see the the outcome of all those steps, now you look back and go, wow, at the time it seemed like I was writing a big check, but now it's like, no, every dollar spent was really worth the value that was given.